Welcome to Sci-Fi Bedtime Stories. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss new stories. Welcome to Sci-Fi Bedtime Stories, where extraordinary cosmic tales awaken. Enjoy the journey. The Adastara hummed with pretentious luxury, stirring in Dene an urge to smash something expensive. Crystal chandeliers swayed gently, scattering rainbows across marble floors that likely dwarfed planetary defense budgets. His sword's weight settled. He wondered why Earth sent him to babysit silk-robed diplomats unable to tie their own shoes without a committee vote. The artifact of peace rested in its containment field, a crystalline egg, grapefruit-sized, smooth as polished obsidian. It pulsed with an inner light that made Dene's teeth ache. 17 star systems had avoided war for 3 decades. This object was their sole, fragile deterrent. Magnificent, isn't it? Dene turned. A woman approached, and his mind, usually composed, delightfully crashed. Green skin like deep forest shadows, black hair falling in waves, and obsidian eyes caught the artifact's light, throwing back gold flecks. She moved with fluid confidence, never meeting a rule she couldn't bend. "You're the Calaldanian observer," Dene said levelly. "Tenka, right? Dr. Tenka Veltar, xenoarchaeologist, and a general pain in the ass," she purred. She extended a hand. Her fingers lingered against his palm. "You're the legendary Dene Marcus, one of Titan's 9. I'm just the guy they sent to guard the shiny rock." Bit of an oversimplification, don't you think? She stepped closer. Rain on stone, nightshade bloom scented the air. "This shiny rock is the only thing keeping 17 civilizations from turning each other into cosmic dust." Dane's grip tightened on his sword hilt, "which is why I'm here to ensure nobody touches it." "Relax, warrior." Tenka's laugh was sharp, musical. "I won't fondle your artifact. I'll study it respectfully." "Good," Dene retorted. The last person too close to ancient alien tech became a cautionary tale. "So on Earth, do you always carry that oversized letter opener, or is it compensating?" Dene's mouth quirked. "We call it being prepared. Try it before you accidentally start a war." "I don't start wars. I just investigate things very thoroughly." That emphasis tightened Dene's chest. He'd faced down fleets with steel and pride. But this green-skinned troublemaker, with gold-flecked eyes and a knowing smile, truly tested his composure. "What exactly are you investigating, Dr. Veltar?" "The energy signature is fascinating." She gestured, her long fingers graceful, yet calloused from fieldwork. "Most peacekeeping devices suppress. This one, though, is organic, like it's alive." Dene watched the artifact pulse, its light synchronized with a cosmic heartbeat. If alive, caging it probably doesn't make it happy. Probably not. Tenka moved closer to the containment field, Dene's muscles tensing. The resonance pattern suggests it bonds with biological systems. Symbiotic. Bond. How? Physical contact. Most efficient. She reached for the field controls. Dene's hand shot out, catching her wrist. "Don't!" A jolt. Her skin was warm, feverish, her pulse hammered. Her eyes flicked to his, gold flecks swirling like liquid metal. "Jumpy much?" she murmured. She didn't pull away, nor did he. "On Calaldan, we say, the flower that never opens, never knows the sun." "On Earth," Dene countered, "we say, don't stick your dick in crazy." Tenka's laughter, genuine, rich, unguarded, charming. "Do humans flirt like longshoremen?" "Only ones not trying to get laid." "Who says I am?" Dene released her wrist. Warmth lingered. "Your body language, tone, and closeness to count my eyelashes." "Maybe nearsighted. Maybe trouble." Tenka grinned. Dene realized he was in danger of liking her, the best kind of trouble. The artifact's hum grew louder, the containment field flickering. "Step back." "Why? Afraid I'll corrupt your precious?" Lights went out. Emergency illumination flickered, casting shadows. Crimson light bathed the chamber. In the sudden dark, Tenka stumbled back, reaching for support. A bench? A chair? No. She landed hard upon the artifact's smooth, crystalline surface. It pulsed, glowing, and warmth bloomed beneath her. "Oh," she gasped, trying to rise, but it responded to her presence, becoming almost liquid. "No, this isn't Tenka." Dine lunged, too late. She was sinking, embraced by the crystal, it molding to her like warm honey. "I can't. It's pulling me in." Her voice, a panicked whisper. The artifact pulsed, merging with her, disappearing into her skin. Waves of sensation crashed over her, ecstasy and agony intertwined, something beyond human comprehension. "Dene." Her voice, deeper, resonated. "I think I made a mistake." It vanished completely. Tenka collapsed, a cry ripping through her, part despair, part bliss. Ship alarms blared. DNA dropped beside her, pulling her close. "What happened?" he demanded. A warmth spread through her, a matching pulse. "What the hell?" I sat. The lights. I thought it was a chair, by accident. Her skin was flushed, burning. "It's inside you," Dene realized. "Integrating. I can feel it. It's alive, Dene." Her back arched, a sound that wasn't all pain. Dene felt his own body responding, a horrifying warmth, sharing her fate. "Attention! All personnel!" The ship's AI announced. "Artifact compromised. Security to the observation deck." Tenka's fingers gripped Dune's arm, her obsidian eyes laced with gold. "They'll want it back," she whispered. "They'll cut it out of me." Dene looked at her, this impossible woman who'd sat her way into this mess, and felt something shift within him. Not the artifact's influence, but the way she looked at him, as if he were the only reality in a world gone mad. "Then we'll make sure they can't have you," he vowed, and pulled her to her feet. A diplomatic crisis had just become intimately personal. The diplomatic chamber erupted. 17 species, screaming in alien tongues. "Where is it?" Krell of the Vegan Confederacy demanded. Diane stood, Tenka clinging to him, pale, fevered, hypersensitive. "Where is the artifact?" "Gone," Dune stated. Silence, a heartbeat of pure tension. Define gone. "Not here anymore." Accusations flew. Diane felt Tenka flinch, and a fierce protectiveness ignited within him. "Nobody sold anything." Tenka emerged from Dune's shadow, her voice unnervingly calm, despite the tremble in her hands. "It has integrated," she stated. "It's now part of my biological system." The chamber erupted anew, but this time the fury was aimed squarely at her. Danae instinctively moved, shielding her from the enraged mob of delegates. "You did what?" Ambassador Krell stammered, his eyes widening in disbelief. "You absorbed the galaxy's most vital peacekeeping artifact." "I sat on it," Tenka admitted, a wryness in her tone that Dine almost found admirable. "I mistook it for a meditation chair." The delegate's tentacles stiffened. "You sat on the artifact of peace? The smooth, glowing object?" Tenka retorted. "How was I supposed to know it was some sort of parasitic suppository?" Dune's voice cut through the growing chaos. "Because, Tenka, normal people don't sit on glowing objects they stumble upon." "And normal people," Tenka shot back, "don't guard ancient relics with swords as if they're auditioning for a historical drama. At least I didn't defile the galaxy's most sacred relic with my posterior. I simply connected with it. Deeply." The delegates exchanged bewildered glances, torn between initiating hostilities and demanding concessions. Ambassador Krell broke the silence, his voice a low rumble. This is utterly unacceptable. The artifact must be extracted immediately. Extracted how? Dine challenged. Surgery, molecular disintegration, whatever it takes. A choked gasp escaped Tenka, igniting a fierce rage within Dune. You're talking about cutting her open! I'm talking about preventing a galactic war, even if it means her life, Krell countered. Dana's hand instinctively went to his sword hilt, and a ripple of unease went through the security detail. Over my dead body? That can be arranged, Krell replied, echoed by a chorus of nods from 16 other delegates. The medical bay resembled a brutalist torture chamber. Dr. Jex, the ship's chief medical officer, a 7-foot insectoid, possessed the bedside manner of a drill sergeant and the humor of a tax audit. Fascinating, he clicked, his multifaceted eyes reflecting the scanner's glow as he examined Tenka. The artifact has fully integrated with your nervous system, utilizing your bioelectric field as a power source. Tenka lay on the examination table, sweat beading on her green skin. With agonizing regularity, her body would arch, and she'd stifle cries that sent shivers down Dine's spine. The artifact's power grew, a palpable presence he felt like a persistent chill. Can you remove it? Dine pleaded. Define remove, Dr. Jex's mandibles clicked thoughtfully. I could perform a full neural extraction, but the survival rate is a mere 12%. And the other 88%? Death, paralysis, irreversible brain damage. Choose your fate. Tenka let out a breathy, bitter laugh. At least I'd be fashionably disabled. This isn't funny, Dine admonished. You're right, she conceded. It's actually hilarious. Her eyes met his, and he saw the raw fear beneath her bravado. I accidentally sat on the galaxy's most important peace treaty, and now everyone wants to dissect me. If I don't laugh, I'll shatter. Dr. Jex's scanner emitted an ominous beep. There's another complication. The artifact appears to be evolving. Evolving how? Dane's voice was hollow. It's adapting to her physiology, learning from her neural patterns. Essentially, it's becoming more human, Dane stated. Or more Kalenian, Tenka interjected. Let's not assume the universe universally desires humanhood. Dr. Jex continued. The longer it remains integrated, the more challenging extraction becomes. Soon it will be impossible to remove without killing the host. A cold dread settled in Dine's gut. How long? Hours, perhaps less. Tenka's fingers found his, and a jolt passed between them. The artifact pulsed in response, and for a fleeting moment, Dane felt as though he understood her sensation. The warmth, the strange tingling that was a fusion of pleasure and pain. Did you feel that? She whispered. I felt what you felt, he replied, seeing it mirrored in her eyes. Her grip tightened. It's not just in me, Dina. It's connecting us. Dr. Jex's scanner shrieked, a dying animal's lament. Remarkable. The artifact is responding to emotional stimuli. The stronger your connection, the more active it becomes. What does that mean? Dine asked, fearing the answer. It means, Tenka breathed, her voice laced with wonder and terror, that every time you touch me, it grows stronger. Dane's private quarters were stark by galactic standards. A bed, a chair, and a viewport displaying the infinite expanse of stars. Tenka sat on the bed's edge, her head buried in her hands, fighting to remain conscious. The delegates are demanding my extradition, she murmured without looking up. They want to take me back to their homeworlds for proper. His medical evaluation demanded dissection, a violation akin to her own impending ordeal. She confessed her fear, a tremor that struck him profoundly. This warrior reduced to vulnerability. They won't take you, he vowed, his resolve a shield against the impossible odds. Her smile, radiant as dawn, declared him her champion, a stark contrast to his perceived folly. A chair, he scoffed, bewildered by its luminescence. The excellent sort, she quipped. Laughter, incredulous and genuine, escaped him. You're mad, he declared, only to be met with his own anachronism. And you, she countered, gesturing beside her, a relic wielding steel against photon streams. She beckoned him closer, her voice trembling. Dunna, I'm not tempting you. I'm unraveling. He sat by her, a careful distance maintained, yet she yielded to his side, a spark igniting them both. A gasp escaped her as the artifact stirred. Good heavens, she whispered. It's like an electrical surge. We must cease. Yet stillness held them captive. Danae, she murmured, her voice laced with apprehension. If they extract this and I perish, promise they won't erase me into mere diplomatic lore. You won't die, he insisted. You cannot know, she replied. But I refuse to let them treat you as a specimen. He drew her nearer, their heartbeats synchronizing with the artifact's thrum. Whatever unfolds, he vowed, we'll face it united. United? Her voice was a soft inquiry. Indeed, he affirmed. A profound silence followed. This artifact, she mused, it doesn't just link us, does it? It's transforming us. The truth resonated within him. It wasn't just a passenger. It was forging something shared. What do you surmise its purpose is? He inquired. I'm uncertain, but I suspect we'll soon discover. The emergency convened at the ship's nadir, when most slumbered. The chamber teemed with delegates from 17 star systems, their ranks bolstered by security and a legion of medical personnel. Ambassador Krell, commanding the podium, presented a tableau of veiled menace. The Accord, he declared, anchored by the artifact of peace, now crumbles. Without it, the Treaty of Starfall is rendered void. Meaning? Dana questioned, the dread already familiar. Tomorrow's dawn, Krell pronounced, announces the expiration of our ceasefire. We descend into conflict. Tenka's hand found his, an electrifying connection rippling through them. Delegates shifted, unnerved by the artifact's palpable influence. Conflict over what? Tenka demanded. Resources, Krell stated, listing mining rights, trade routes, territorial disputes, and wounded pride. The right to exist unmolested by lesser species. And this artifact averted it? It fostered empathy, Krell explained, making aggression a formidable, near impossible undertaking. It was the bedrock of galactic serenity. So, DNA summarized, his tone laced with derision. You're all such buffoons you require an ancient alien mood stabilizer to prevent mutual annihilation. Outraged shouts erupted, but Dune pressed on. And now that your mood ring is embedded within her, you'd rather vivisect her than seek an alternative. No alternative exists, countered the Altarian representative. The artifact is inimitable, irreplaceable. It must be removed, even if it costs her life. Tenka squeezed his hand, the artifact pulsing violently, causing several delegates to recoil. And if, her voice, clear and resonant, cut through the din, extraction isn't the solution. What if integration is? Elaborate, Krell commanded. It learns, it adapts, Tenka explained. What if it seeks not removal, but evolution? Into what? Her gaze met Dane's, and a chilling premonition seized him. Into something new, something that transcends containment and distant veneration. You speak of weaponization, the Syrian delegate accused. I speak of a living treaty, Tenka declared. A profound silence descended. DNA felt the artifact's tendrils extending, weaving a tapestry of shared consciousness. For a fleeting moment, he felt their collective fear, their rage, their desperate longing for an end to bloodshed. "This is intolerable," Krell pronounced, his voice faltering. "Why?" Tenka demanded, her grip tightening. "Because it's uncontrollable, alien, perilous. We're all perilous," Dine countered, his voice sharp. "The question, are we a threat to each other, or to those who'd annihilate us?" The artifact throbbed, mirroring the escalating chaos. Security forces raised their arms. Delegates shrieked orders. 30 years of fragile peace shattered. "Choose," Tenka's voice cut through the pandemonium. "War or evolution? Fear or faith? Stagnation or transformation?" Ambassador Krell, his forearms a blur of motion, chose survival. Dina, drawing his sword, declared, "Let's see who survives." The diplomatic crisis exploded into a lethal firefight, the ancient artifact pulsing at the heart of it all, a rhythm of two entwined hearts. The Adastara's service corridors, unsuitable for running battles and existential dread, became their desperate escape route. DNA propelled Tenka through a maintenance hatch as pulse fire seared the metal behind them. The stench of burning metal choked them. "This is insane," Tenka gasped, each breath a struggle. The artifact's fusion intensified, its waves of sensation overwhelming her. "They're trying to kill us over a peace treaty," she cried. "The most crucial peace treaty in galactic history," Dine corrected, scanning ahead. "There's a difference." "Is there?" Tenka retorted, dodging blaster fire. "From my perspective, it feels exactly the same." Boots thundered behind them. Altarian security forces closed in, their translators spitting venomous threats in a cacophony of languages. "Left," DNA urged, pulling Tenka into a side passage. "Service elevators this way." "How do you know this ship?" "I studied the schematics," Dana quipped. "Unlike some, I prepare for diplomatic missions. I just didn't anticipate absorbing the galaxy's most sacred relic, rectally." A near smile flickered across his face. "I'm never letting you live that down, if we survive." Tenka's back arched, a stifled cry escaping her lips, mirroring the agony that ripped through Dinah. "Oh God," she moaned. "It's intensifying. The artifact, our connection." Gold sparked in her eyes, a mesmerizing spectacle. "Can you feel it?" Dine nodded. Every pulse thrummed through him, an overwhelming, escalating feedback loop. "Yes, and I think we'll need it." The elevator doors hissed open, revealing Ambassador Krell and his heavily armed guards. Krell's arms moved with lethal precision. "End of the line," Krell growled. "Release the artifact." "It has a name," Danae retorted, hand on his sword. "And it's not going anywhere. You cannot fight us all." "Watch me," Tenka challenged. Their hands met. A surge of power coursed between them, intensifying the artifact's pulse, the air shimmering with an unearthly luminescence. "Fascinating," Krell observed, his compound eyes gleaming. "The integration is complete. You're both compromised." "Compromised how?" Tenka demanded. "The artifact is exploiting your bond to accelerate its development. The stronger your connection, the faster it grows." "Grows into what?" Danae pressed. "We don't know, and that's why you must die." Dr. Zephyr's lab was a disturbing tableau of gleaming instruments and bubbling specimens that sent shivers down Danae's spine. The xenobiologist, an elegant being with silver skin and mercury eyes, moved with uncanny grace. "Remarkable," she murmured, scanning Tenka's unconscious form. "Absolutely remarkable." "Can you remove it?" Dina asked. "Define remove," she replied, her scanner beeping wildly. "It's fully integrated with her nervous system, using her bioelectric field as power and incubator." "Incubator for what?" "I don't know," Zephyr admitted. "But it's growing, evolving, learning from her genetics and neural pathways." Tenka's eyes snapped open. Learning what? How to be alive? Zephyr's expression was a terrifying blend of scientific wonder and dread. It's not a peacekeeping device. It's an embryo. An embryo of what? Danae asked, his voice flat. Unknown, Zephyr whispered, but the energy signature suggests something far older than galactic civilization, something predating the Treaty of... For millennia, the starfall endured. Tenka struggled to sit, a wince escaping as she slumped back onto the examination table. So I'm carrying an alien artifact, child, she murmured, a strained laugh escaping. Just perfect. Dr. Zephyr said it wasn't a true pregnancy, but more a symbiosis. The entity used her body to mature, but it also reshaped her. How? She asked. Enhanced neural pathways, heightened empathy, and... Dr. Zephyr's scanner shrieked. A psychic link with your bonded partner. Tenka's voice cracked. My what? Him? Dr. Zephyr gestured to Danae. The artifact has identified him as your mate, your protector, the father guardian of its offspring. I'm not her mate, Danae stated. Yet the artifact's pulse resonated with his own heartbeat. We barely know each other. Tell that to the ancient alien consciousness rewriting your genetic code, Tenka breathed, her laughter bordering on hysterical. This is madness. Utter, complete madness. Madness or not, Dr. Zephyr cautioned, the process is accelerating. The entity will be fully mature within hours. And when it is, what happens? Tenka pressed. You'll both be fundamentally altered, Zephyr explained. Bonded on a level beyond species, genetics, even death itself. A chill settled in Danae's gut. And if we stop it, the entity dies, Tenka dies, and the galaxy plunges back into war. A fine choice, Tenka muttered. Not much of one, Danae conceded. In the cramped, dark service tunnels, filled with the ship's hum, they found a maintenance alcove barely large enough for two. Pressed together, intimacy was unavoidable. Cozy, Tenka whispered, her breath warm against his ear. Don't get ideas. Too late. Ideas are plentiful. Most involve you shedding that jacket. DNA shifted, seeking space, but found only closer proximity, each accidental touch sending jolts through them. The artifact, he said. It's clouding your judgment. Perhaps, or maybe I simply enjoy your scent. I smell like sweat, fear, leather, and something else. Something that makes my teeth ache. That's the artifact. It's talking. Is it? Tenka's hand found his chest, their shared gasp echoing. Every time you touch me, it's like the thing's purring. What kind of artifact purrs? Maybe it's not an artifact. Maybe it's something else. A highly dedicated sex toy? Despite the dire circumstances, Danae chuckled. You're insane, and you're desperately trying not to kiss me. I'm trying not to complicate an already impossible situation. What if I desire complication? Tenka's fingers traced his jaw. Danae, I feel your feelings. The artifact is forging a connection. I know you want this. Wanting and acting are different, aren't they? She questioned. Because right now, we might be all that stands between the galaxy and war. Doesn't that earn us a desire for ourselves? Danae caught her hand, holding it against his face. You don't understand. On Earth, when someone like me bonds like this, it's permanent. It's everything. Mind, body, soul. No takebacks. Tenka was silent, then asked, That scares you? Terrifies me. Good. If you weren't scared, I'd think you were broken. When Danae finally succumbed to the kiss, the artifact surged. The alcove blazed with light as their minds merged, transporting them not to the ship's tunnels, but to Earth. Danae's Earth, the one that had been consumed by fire. Through his memories, Tenka witnessed the cities turn to glass under an artificial sun, heard the screams of billions as the atmosphere ignited, felt the desperate struggle for survival in underground shelters. She shared his pain, his loss, his fury at a galaxy that had ignored humanity's agony. "I'm so sorry," she whispered, the words laden with more than mere sympathy. Then he saw her world through her eyes, Kalen's emerald forests and crystal cities, but also her loneliness, the crushing isolation of being the only one in her family fascinated by ancient histories, by the rise and fall of civilizations before her people had even mastered fire. "You're not alone," he said, his voice resonating with truth. "Not anymore." The artifact pulsed between them, shifting them to a new realm, a vast expanse filled with beings of pure light, their forms dancing in patterns of joy, connection, and transcendent harmony. This dual existence. "The Zinfields," Tenka whispered. "This is what they were." "What they are," Dine corrected. "The last one. It's been waiting for what? For us. For this moment. For the chance to be born again." The vision faded, leaving them pressed together in the dark, silent alcove, but the connection remained. Dine could feel Ten's heartbeat, her breathing, the slow pulse of the artifact as it continued its development. "It's beautiful," she said. "What it's showing us, what it wants to become. It's also alien. We don't know what it will do to us. Does it matter? Look around, Dene. The galaxy is about to tear itself apart. If this thing can prevent that, it might be worth the risk." Might be. Definitely worth the risk. Dr. Zephyr found them in the service tunnels 3 hours later, her scanner leading her to the source of the massive energy readings that were making the ship's instruments go haywire. "Incredible," she breathed, staring at the readings. "The artifact's development has accelerated exponentially. It's reached critical mass." "Critical mass of what?" DNE asked. "Life consciousness. The emergence of a new form of existence." Dr. Zephyr's eyes were wide with wonder. "It's not just an artifact. It's a Zinfield egg, the last embryo of the most empathic species in galactic history. The Zenfields are extinct. Tenka said they were until now." Dr. Zephyr's scanner beeped frantically. "The egg has been dormant for millennia, waiting for the right conditions to activate. The right parents. The Zenfields were a bonded species. They required 2 individuals, one to provide the biological matrix, one to provide emotional stability and protection. The egg has chosen you both." DNA felt the artifact pulse, and with it came a wave of something. Not quite emotion, not quite thought, but something that spoke of ancient wisdom and infinite patience. "It's intelligent," he said. "It's been intelligent all along. More than intelligent, it's empathic on a scale that defies measurement. The original Zenfields could sense and influence the emotions of entire star systems. They were living peace treaties, walking embodiments of harmony. And now the last one, is about to be born. And when it is, it will change everything. Change how the birth process will create a permanent psychic bond between you both. You'll be connected not just to each other, but to the newborn Zenfield. You'll become its parents in every sense that matters." Tenka's hand found Dane's, and the contact sent shockwaves through both of them. "And if we refuse, the egg dies, the Zinfields become truly extinct, and the galaxy goes back to war." "Some choice," Dine muttered. "Not much of one," Tenka agreed. The diplomatic security forces found them in the main corridor, surrounded by the flickering light of the artifact's final development phase. Tenka was doubled over with something that looked like labor pains, while Dine supported her weight and tried to ignore the sympathetic contractions racking his own body. Step aside, Terran, Ambassador Krell commanded, his forearms holding weapons that could vaporize them both. This is no longer your business. Dene looked at his sword, then at Tenka, then at the growing crowd of armed delegates. His voice when he spoke was different, deeper, carrying an authority that made every being in the corridor take an involuntary step backward. You just made it my business. He drew his sword in one fluid motion, and the blade began to glow with an inner light. Ancient symbols appeared along its length, sigils that predated the current galactic civilization, marks that spoke of power and authority beyond current understanding. The ship's hull vibrated with a resonance that seemed to come from the sword itself. And suddenly the corridor was filled with something that wasn't quite sound, wasn't quite light, but demanded attention from every living being within 100 meters. Impossible, Krell breathed. The housemark sigil. You're one of the 9. I'm the last of the 9, Din corrected, and you're about to find out why that matters. The air shimmered, and suddenly there was a girl in the corridor. She couldn't have been more than 12, with violet eyes and hair like spun starlight. In her hands, she carried an energy blade twice her height, its humming edge casting rainbow shadows on the walls. "Big bro," she said, her voice carrying the innocent cheerfulness of a child asking about ice cream. "You need me to kill them, or just maim them a bit?" The corridor went dead silent. Every weapon in the room suddenly seemed inadequate, every threat hollow. The girl's smile was sweet, guileless, and absolutely terrifying. "Who the hell are you people?" Tenka whispered. "Royal bloodline from Earth's old steel," Dine said, his sword still glowing with ancient power. "Only 9 of us left. We made the stars behave." He glanced at his sister, who was examining her fingernails with the casual interest of someone deciding what to have for lunch. "My sis." "My meals are ambassadors," the young girl chirped, her voice eerily bright. "I feasted on 3 this morning. Their flavor echoed chicken, yet carried a distinct undertone of utter timidity." Ambassador Krell's weaponry wavered slightly. House Marcus had perished with Earth's inferno. D&E concurred. House Marcus was no more. Yet they endured. Tenka's piercing cry sliced through the mounting tension. The artifact's emergence had commenced, an unstoppable force unleashed. A definitive choice had been made, a destiny irrevocably cast. Whatever followed would irrevocably rewrite the galaxy's fabric. And, at the nexus of it all, a 12-year-old girl, brandishing a blade dwarfing her frame, offered a disarmingly sweet smile. "So shall we engage in a civilized parley, or am I to commence dismembering our guests into whimsical shapes?" The genesis was imminent. The medical bay's portals slammed shut with a resounding boom, their echoes reverberating through the vessel's arteries. Lix Marcus leaned against the fortified steel, a bioluminescent candy swirling in her mouth. She nonchalantly positioned what appeared to be military-grade laser mines in each corner of the enclosure. "There," she declared, a satisfaction akin to a meticulous interior decorator gracing her pronouncement. "Now we may conduct our peculiar alien birthing in undisturbed serenity." Tenka's cry ripped through the atmosphere, her body contorting as another wave of the internal phenomenon crested and receded. Dine clasped her hand, feeling each throb of agony transmitted through their shared connection. His jaw was clenched so fiercely he feared his molars might fracture. "This is utter madness," Tenka choked out between contractions. "This is completely—" "Wow," Lix interjected, her gaze fixated on her meticulously manicured fingernails with detached fascination. "I thought my own initial telepathic awakening was rather theatrical, but this is in a league of its own. Shall I administer a pressure point to render you unconscious?" "Touch me," Tenka snarled, "and I shall deliver you a secondary demise." "Rather kinky," Dine murmured, a hint of amusement in his tone. "I find her quite intriguing." A colossal crash reverberated from beyond the medical bay, swiftly followed by the characteristic whine of industrial cutting machinery. The diplomatic security contingent was attempting to breach the entrance, wielding an arsenal potent enough, by the sound of it, to obliterate a modest urban center. "They've brought a battering ram to a psychic genesis," Lix observed, shaking her head with feigned disappointment. "Amateurs! Allow me to address them in my outdoor vocal register." "Remain here," Dine commanded, but his sister was already meticulously checking the seals on her explosive devices. "Relax, elder sibling," she reassured him, a childlike innocence belying the nuclear potency she wielded. "My intention isn't to annihilate them. I merely intend to illuminate the wisdom of reconsidering their life choices." Tenka's subsequent scream coincided with an incandescent flash that bathed the medical bay in brilliant light. The artifact, or rather the egg, had reached its critical zenith, and Dune could sense the stirrings of something vast and ancient within Tenka's very being. It was unequivocally non-human, not Calaldanian, but something entirely other. "It's arriving," she whispered, her eyes wide with a mixture of awe and dread. "I can feel its movement. It's magnificent." Through their psychic conduit, Danae glimpsed her sensory experience, visions of pure light and consciousness, of entities existing beyond the corporeal realm, of a civilization that had once bestowed galactic harmony through unadulterated empathy. "Hold on," he urged, tightening his grip on her hand. "Just hold on." Outside, the cacophony of the cutting equipment abruptly ceased. Moments later, Lick's voice, amplified through the ship's public address system, dripped with a cheerful malevolence that could induce involuntary evacuation in even the most seasoned warriors. "Attention diplomatic personnel," the broadcast declared, laced with an unnerving mirth. "This is Lix Marcus, and I am experiencing a truly exceptional day, which, I must confess, puts me in a particularly creative mood. You have precisely 30 seconds to vacate the immediate vicinity of that doorway before I commence demonstrating why the Marcus lineage eschews negotiation with individuals of your disposition. 30 seconds. 29. 28. "Your sister is rather formidable," Tenka commented, her voice strained. "You should witness her demeanor when displeased." The birthing process itself defied every biological tenet Danae had ever encountered. There was no effusion of blood, no tangible physical trauma, only light. Pure, radiant light seemed to emanate from Tenka's very pores as the Zinfield embryo completed its metamorphosis from inanimate artifact to vibrant life. As the luminescence subsided, a creature unlike any documented in galactic annals floated serenely above the medical table. It possessed a form that melded the ethereal grace of a jellyfish with the cosmic splendor of a star, its translucent body pulsing with an inner luminescence. Tentacles, seemingly spun from crystallized starlight, swayed gently in the recycled atmosphere, and its eyes, oh, its eyes, seemed to contain the very heart of a nebula. "Remarkable," Lix mused, lowering her energy blade. "I anticipated tentacles, though I must admit these are rather charming. May we possibly keep it?" The creature, their offspring, Danae realized with a profound jolt that resonated deep within his bones, turned its cosmic gaze towards them. It communicated not through spoken words, but through a cascade of emotions that bypassed language entirely, settling directly into their minds: love, gratitude, recognition, joy. Luminous progenitors, it conveyed, its voice akin to wind chimes crafted from pure melody. "Thank you for guiding me home." Tenka slowly pushed herself upright, her emerald skin still faintly shimmering with residual energy. Home. DNA found himself considering this reality, this dimension, this singular moment, as the creature sparked and drifted closer, a nascent thought echoing, I have been waiting so long to be born. How long? Danae inquired. Since the last of my kind chose oblivion over subjugation, the spark replied. Roughly 50,000 of your years. Jesus, Lix breathed. That's an extraordinarily long gestation. Spark's attention then turned to her, and Danae observed his sister's expression transform from wry amusement to a profound sense of awe. Sister Guardian, Spark intoned, you resonate with the same light song as Parent Protector. Light song, Lix clarified, the harmony of those who stand guard between the encroaching darkness and the defenseless. And yours, little cosmic squid, sings exceptionally loud. Damn right it does, Lix responded, her voice softer than Danae had ever heard it. So what precisely are you? I am the last Zenfield, Spark declared, the final echo of a civilization that once sustained harmony across 17 star systems through sheer empathic resonance. And now I am reborn. With my arrival comes the potential for peace, not through conflict or decree, but through genuine understanding. It was at that precise moment the medical bay's doors were violently torn inward, revealing Ambassador Krell and a cadre of grim-faced diplomatic security personnel. They took one look at Spark, serenely suspended above the medical table, and leveled their weapons. Stand down, Krell commanded. That being poses a threat to galactic security. Spark's response was a gentle pulse of light that spread outward, a serene ripple across the room. Dne watched, dumbfounded, as every weapon in sight suddenly felt impossibly heavy. The security detail's aggressive stances dissolved into bewilderment, then into something akin to wonder. I am no threat, Spark stated, its voice resonating in every corner of the chamber. I am a possibility. Then with a touch of Lix's newly acquired colorful vernacular, Spark added, Ambassador smells like rancid broth. Yes, Lix confirmed with pride. And remember, Spark, never trust a fellow with 4 arms and no sleeves. What transpired next would become a cornerstone of diplomatic studies for the following millennium. Spark, barely an hour old, had somehow interfaced with the ship's core systems, commencing a fundamental rewriting of inter-system relational protocols. Remarkable, Dr. Zephyr breathed, observing her instruments register changes that defied all known parameters. It's not a system intrusion. It's a persuasive evolution. The shifts were subtle initially. The pervasive tension that had gripped the vessel for days simply vanished. Delegates, entrenched in decades of animosity, found themselves genuinely attending to opposing viewpoints. Weapons raised in aggression were slowly lowered as their wielders re-evaluated the necessity of conflict. What is it doing? Ambassador Krell inquired, his 4 arms now resting passively at his sides. Creating consensus, Tennis offered, still faintly luminous from Spark's emergence. It's not manipulating minds or suppressing emotion. It's merely facilitating comprehension. Meanwhile, Lix had seized control of a ship's data terminal, apparently initiating a broadcast network. If they're going to stare, she muttered, her fingers a blur across the controls, we might as well capitalize on the strangeness. What are you doing? DNA asked. Launching our show, Lix declared. Raising Zenfield, how we sat on peace and made a baby. I've already got 3 major networks clamoring for exclusive rights. Our infant is an hour old and already possesses more charisma than most reality television personalities. Trust me, big brother, this venture will make us prosperous. Spark's empathic influence continued to expand, radiating beyond the confines of the medical bay, even beyond the ship itself. Across the galaxy, on 17 distinct worlds, beings poised for warfare suddenly found themselves contemplating the true cost of their grievances in terms of bloodshed and suffering. Astounding, Ambassador Krell mused, his voice, for the first time since Dine had known him, imbued with wonder rather than animosity. The entity is fostering an environment of understanding, not enforced compliance, but authentic empathy. Its designation is Spark, Tenka corrected, and it's not merely an entity, it is our child. Your child is actively rewriting galactic law. Excellent. The previous statutes were abysmal. The telepathic connection between Dune and Tenka felt akin to having another's thoughts permanently integrated into his consciousness, yet it was not intrusive. It felt profoundly complete, like a missing segment of his very being he had never realized was absent, had finally found its place. "This is going to require some adjustment," Tenka commented, and Denna could feel her amusement coursing through their linked minds. "The telepathy, the whole package, you, me, our cosmic, luminescent offspring, and your delightfully unhinged sister, who apparently moonlights as an arms manufacturer. I prefer to term it creative problem-solving," Lix called out from her terminal. "And for the record, I exclusively manufacture the truly amusing weaponry." "Define amusing," DNE began. Dr. Zephyr stammered, his words implying career reevaluation rather than outright peril. Spark glided between Dine and Tenka, tendrils affectionately caressing them. A profound contentment bloomed in their shared connection, and Dane marveled that this fantastical, impossible being was the ideal offspring for parents who'd known each other mere days. "Light-bearing parents," Spark declared. "Your bond strengthens, a harmony that will resonate across the stars." Lick, engrossed in her work, chimed in telepathically. "Soul bonding. Utterly bizarre. Sweet, yes, but mostly bizarre. I'll give it 3 weeks before one of you hides snacks, and the other retaliates." Tenka echoed through their link. "Your sister speaks truth. Are you truly ready for a life with no secrets?" Dunn retorted. "Are you kidding? I've yearned for someone who'll honestly tell me if they truly enjoy my cooking." "I loathe your cooking," Tenka confessed. "I know. That's why I adore you." The official ceremony convened in the main diplomatic hall, a constellation of representatives from 17 systems witnessing what was hailed as the galaxy's most pivotal political milestone. Spark hovered centrally, its presence a tranquil aura, moderating even the most rigid officials into reasoned discourse. "The Galactic Council hereby designates Dine Marcus, Tenka Velar, and the entity known as Spark as the official custodians of peace," proclaimed Chancellor Vix of the Centauran Republic. "They shall possess complete diplomatic immunity and the authority to arbitrate inter-system disputes." "And what of recompense?" Lick inquired, having quietly assembled recording equipment near a wall. "My brother and his paramour just averted galactic conflict through the most peculiar gestation known to history. That surely merits a reward." "The gratitude of 17 star systems is compensation enough," Vix stated. "Gratitude doesn't cover diapers, nor whatever sustenance a Zin field consumes." "Starlight and mathematical equations," Spark offered helpfully. "See? Costly." Before anyone could reply, General Thax of the Andromedan Defense Force advanced, mandibles clicking with suppressed aggression. "I care not for its abilities. It's too perilous to remain ungoverned. It requires containment, study." He never finished his sentence. Lick moved with liquid speed, her energy blade appearing in her hand, hovering a mere millimeter from the general's throat. "You may have Spark," she stated conversationally. "Certainly, just initial here, signifying my consent to being jettisoned into the sun." The general's compound eyes fixated on the blade, then on Lick's disarmingly cheerful smile, which paradoxically amplified the weapon's menace. "You wouldn't dare," General Thax uttered. "I once fed an entire Syrian battle fleet to a black hole because they dared interrupt my breakfast," Lick whispered, her voice carrying to every corner. "Care to wager on my reaction to someone threatening my nephew?" The general recoiled. "Your nephew?" "Spark's my nephew. Dane's my brother. Tenka's my sister-in-law. And you, General Thax, are a pest who just threatened my family." Her smile widened. "A grave miscalculation." "The Marcus family," Dine added, joining his sister, "does not negotiate with terrorists. We educate them, typically through practical application." "I retract my objection," General Thax conceded hastily. "Wise insect," Lick remarked, deactivating her blade. 6 months elapsed, and the reality series, Raising Zenfield, How We Brokered Peace and Begot a Baby, captivated the galaxy, broadcast concurrently to over 50 billion viewers across 17 star systems. The scenario was perfect. 2 hesitant guardians, their impossibly charming cosmic infant, and Lick, who had inexplicably ascended to the galaxy's most adored and formidable television personality. Each installment chronicled their domestic existence on a lavish estate, situated on a neutral moon, with Spark providing a blend of humor and profound insight. Previously on Raising Zenfield, Lick's voice announced over the opening credits. They touched, they radiated, and now everything carries the scent of jasmine and regret. The financial windfall was staggering. Licensing agreements, merchandise, endorsements. Apparently, Galactic Salvation was remarkably profitable when skillfully merchandised. Lick had orchestrated deals that rendered them immeasurably wealthy. Meanwhile, Spark's inherent charisma and sagacity positioned him as the ideal ambassador for everything from breakfast fare to peace accords. "Zinflakes," the announcer declared over footage of Spark peacefully suspended in a crystalline bowl. "Enlightenment in every morsel." The irony was not lost on Dane. He had dedicated his life to martial training, only to amass his fortune as a reality television star. But watching Tenka's laughter as Spark conjured miniature rainbows from mere air, even complaint felt impossible. "You know," Tenka mused one evening, their gaze lost in the sunset from their moon's surface, "when I touched that artifact, I truly believed I'd shattered everything. But you rescued it all. We rescued it all. The touch was simply the spark." Tenka laughed. "The best spark in all of galactic history. My sister's already trying to trademark galactic harmony through unplanned contact. She's probably got it registered by now." Their mansion's balcony offered a breathtaking panorama. 3 star systems, a cascade of twinkling lights against the infinite void. Tenka, lounging in a chair that cost more than entire planets' annual incomes, savored wine aged in zero gravity, clad in a silk robe woven with threads of actual starlight. "So we stumbled into creating a universal peacemaker through a bit of flirtation and a clumsy sitting incident," she declared, raising her glass in a playful salute. "And now we're swimming in wealth." Danae, meticulously polishing his sword while sporting boxer shorts emblazoned with their show's logo, flashed a wide grin. "Only in America can you turn a clumsy mistake into interstellar peace and land your own reality series." Next week's episode, My Alien Child Nukeified a Planet Just by Giggle. And we're still holding steady at PG-13. Bless this capitalist machine. Spark hovered nearby, his form a gentle, content pulse. "Parents funny love parents," he chimed softly. "See," Tenka beamed, "even the baby agrees we're utterly preposterous, ridiculously wealthy, outrageously famous, and undeniably, wonderfully happy." Lix emerged from the mansion, pajama-clad, and wielding what appeared to be a military-grade energy blaster. "I've already secured the movie rights," she announced with gusto. "The title? Interstellar Affection, The Diplomatic Breakthrough." "That's dreadful," Dine quipped. "Precisely why it'll make us even wealthier." As the 3 humans and 1 cosmic being settled in to watch the celestial ballet, the ever-present camera panned back, revealing the sheer scale of their triumph. Their mansion graced a small moon they'd purchased outright. its surface etched with Zinfield Family Estate in letters visible from orbit. Below them, the galaxy continued its ancient, peaceful rotation, a calm unbroken for millennia. At the heart of it all, the most extraordinary family the galaxy had ever known had literally etched their legacy upon the universe. "You know the best part," Tenka whispered, as Dene's arms encircled her, Spark nestling into her lap like the universe's most cherished companion. "What?" he murmured. "We're only just beginning." The final shot depicted their celestial haven from space, a small moon orbiting a binary sun, its surface bathed in the warm glow of a family who had transformed a single moment of unexpected intimacy into the very bedrock of galactic peace. And in the distance, 17 star systems carried on their eternal waltz, held in perfect harmony by the profound love of two souls who had met over a misunderstood relic, and, in doing so, nurtured the galaxy's most vital infant. It was, by any measure, the most joyous conclusion to a diplomatic crisis in history. The end. Next season, Spark attends Academy, premiering this fall on the Galactic Broadcasting Network.